Well, I think the one thing we can say is that there's never been an entity come into South Florida before and make as strong a capital commitment as Genting has made. This is a town that historically has had a lot of people with a lot of ideas come through it, but very few people come through and put $500 million into the ground. So I think that Genting is extremely serious. I think that whether or not they get gaming, they will move forward with the product. I think the product will be substantial, and I think the product will have a dramatic impact, not only in the immediate area, but in the downtown and the overall core of Miami as well. Well, I disagree with that because I think that Las Vegas was a city that really was created based upon the gambling model. Miami already has its own identity. Miami is already a major city. I think the comparison to Atlantic City is even less relevant. I think that Atlantic City was, with all due respect, a second-rate beach town where someone was able to take advantage of some legislation that allowed them to put gaming on one side of the street but didn't have any benefit for the other. Without getting into the discussion about the pros or the cons of gambling, I think that Miami stands on its own as a major gateway city. It's got an enormous GDP of and by itself. It's got industry, it's got service, it's got tourism. It's got a number of things going for it that I think don't make it as nearly as dependent as the other cities would have been on the gaming model. Sands is just one of several operators that are now circling the area trying to underwrite and understand what the opportunities might be. I don't know whether it's Sands or anybody else for that matter, because first of all, we don't know what the legislature is going to pass. Second of all, if something is passed, we don't know how many opportunities are going to be created for operators to have a license and make the investment to have the gaming hotel or a convention center. So I don't think it's a question of where somebody's going to land right now as much as if anyone's going to land. Whether people land on the mainland, whether people land on the beach, whether it's a combination thereof, again, really remains to be seen based upon the legislature. I think that the city's been consistent. I think their position is that they're not in favor of gaming. I think that the city has a model today which has worked very successfully for them for decades, which is they've got access to the water. They've got an infrastructure which allows tourism to take advantage of that. And I think that they don't think that they necessarily need to be beholden to a gaming model to continue that level of success. However, I do think the city is going to be put into a position whereby if gambling is allowed on the mainland across the bay, the city of Miami Beach is going to feel like they're going to need to take steps to protect their position and at least be on equal footing. And I think you may see a change from the city at that point in time in their regard about gambling. Retailers are always looking for the right envelope for them to best execute their branding and execute their concept. And I think that historically downtown hasn't had the kind of envelope that those retailers need to be successful. I think when you combine that with the explosion of population that's occurred in the downtown core, really making it a true live, work, play environment, I think that you've got a number of retailers and people focused on the area and desirous of being here, but are looking and saying, how can I really execute? So I think that the only way that that's going to happen and the only way we're going to go to the next level of service delivery in the downtown Brickell Midtown corridor, I think you're going to have to see new product delivered. There are a number of new projects already announced and on the drawing board, which I think over time you will see come to fruition. Swires Brickell City Center development, hundreds of thousands of square feet of retail opportunity, mixed-use project, extremely capable, educated developer in this marketplace. I think that they're going to create an envelope where they're going to be able to get a critical mass of retailers and specifically soft goods operators to be excited about the opportunity to come into Brickell and piggyback on the restaurant and entertainment concepts that have already had a lot of success here. I think you're going to see the same thing to the north in the design district. I think that that project is going to be a reality. Whether that project ultimately is successful or not will depend upon how the public responds to it. But I think that you're going to see the commitment from retailers, specifically luxury retailers, to cluster in that marketplace and try and create another distribution point for themselves. The luxury retailer and retailers in general are realizing that they need more distribution points in Miami and not less. whether it's Aventura Mall, whether it's Bal Harbor, whether it's South Beach, Design District, Brickell, Merrick Park, or parts to the south. I think the performance and the sales history for these retailers is pushing them to realize that I need more units in Miami, not less.